Hi everyone and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we were talking about the struggle.
Very aptly named.
Yes, very aptly
The second
named.
book in the first Vampire Diaries, whatever. It's the second book in the first Vampire Diaries series. Yeah. So
Yes. And ultimately, the weirdest thing with this book, and you texted us, Addie, is they have no relationship development, and yet it progresses.
There's no relationship development.
okay, all right. So let's rate the book. I guess
think about this.
I didn't either.
Do you have a rating, Mara?
Okay, no,
I
have
know
a rating.
the theme of what I want the rating to be. I'm just trying to think of what it would actually be called.
I have a thing.
Okay.
This is like if you're about to make a 10-course meal and you have all the ingredients out and then you just left them there and didn't make the meal.
I can second that. I second that. I'm stealing
I was going more into the thing now. I wasn't thinking jelly beans as the actual thing, but it's the only example I can think of. You know the concept of like Birdie Bots, every flavored beans, where like, it looks like it's going to be like a blackberry flavored, or a grape flavored thing, and then it's just...
It's like vomit.
Yeah, kind of thing. Like, it looks... It's got the right pieces and it's just not there. It's confused.
Like, yeah, like
it ought to be.
I mean, because part of the problem is like, it says the Vampire Diaries on it. I don't know what's happening. Like, it's more like the Elena Diaries.
Yeah.
There are no Vampire Diaries in this.
Well, maybe next book.
Yeah. Sorry, okay, real quick. Spoilers ahead. This is Book Club with Bay, not spoiler-free book review.
These books came out
and these books also,
these books are so fucking old. There's a TV show that's better than the books. Watch that. Don't read the books.
Even though it's literally because conformity, and I was interested. I started watching the show.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, this is totally two separate.
Yeah,
they're
it
two
is
separate things.
It is loosely inspired by.
Meaning the characters have the same names, and that's
sometimes
about it.
Sometimes they have the same names.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. That's all. That's
really all
the same.
And people are the same species that they are in the books. That's about it.
Yes,
it's really about it.
That's true too.
Except for Bunny. Bunny's a druid in the books.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and she's just a witch in this one. Isn't it the case, if you will, that Elena changes over next book?
Well, she changes at the end of this book.
Oh, did she? I didn't.
Yeah.
Why didn't I catch that?
Yeah, she was dead, and then she
running
into the
clearing.
she
comes back.
Yeah, you're right. She's like, I'm really cold, and then suddenly she's like, I stood up.
Yeah. So yeah, she.
That's right.
She ends this book of vampire.
That.
Yeah, it's not explicitly stated, but because I knew what was going to happen, I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even write down. I just ended my notes with, and she starts to walk.
Yeah, because I remember what happens at the, like, I remember how next book ends and what the general theme of the last book is.
Yes.
And that's about it. I'm not going to tell you because Addie just needs... you'll find out in a few days. There's no point spoiling it for you.
Yeah. So, I was going to say this because I'm here. I'm not, and the Liar's Key is long AF. Do we want to just do the next Vampire Diaries book next week?
Fine with that. I've got a lot of appointments next week.
Okay,
so I was actually thinking one book might be better.
Yeah, like, because it's a long book and I'm going to be here. I'm not going to have time to listen to the whole thing. It takes a while.
Fair.
So there will only be one book club next week, and it'll be the bad book.
It shall be the bad. Okay, so,
we weren't, no point going through
characters.
No,
I guess Alaric.
There's Alaric.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Yep. So
Because I've
Alaric
been
is
watching
in
the
this
show.
book.
It's just
Alaric is here.
yes.
Yep. He's a teacher.
Yep.
He's
still a
replacing Mr. Tanner.
Yep.
Like he does that in the show. He replaces Mr. Tanner in the show. Unlike the show, if you've seen the show, Alaric looks to be about 35, let's say, give or take. In the book, he's 22.
Yeah, this is his first teaching job, and he's like super duper like excited and
Yeah, he's like, teaching! Like,
He's me when I graduate.
he's very
he's
excited.
like, let's hang out and be buds. Let's
Yeah.
and like yeah, he's the because there's obviously different stereotypes of like freshly graduated teachers, and there's those that are like I need to prove that I'm not a pushover just because I look young doesn't mean I'm not tough type shit. There's those ones, and then there's the ones that let's all sit in a circle and I'm going to sit backwards on my chair.
That's it.
Yeah, he was leg spreading.
And let me
around
invite
the back
you
of
over
his
to
chair.
my personal abode because that definitely does not break any
Yes.
laws.
Yeah, let's have a part like there's a party at my place and you're invited. It's a place to just chill, get ill, and spend the night. And yes, I just quoted Aussie hip hop that you guys wouldn't know. Never mind.
Very illegal. So, with that in mind, the plot. There
The
is
plot.
none. Book club over.
Yeah.
We want to get a diary back because the diary's been missing.
Yes, Elena's diary went missing at Bonnie's. I missed the dog dying, by the way. I missed the dog dying last book.
Finally,
A dog died?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bonnie's dog.
Yes.
Oh.
Bonnie's dog. The night that she did the whole come in thing.
Oh.
Bonnie's dog ended up dead.
Sorry, my cat was clawing the couch.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah,
Dog is a weird name. That's all I remember.
Yeah. What is it? Yankee. I think it was Yankee. The struggle is real. It is real. It is all of the real.
Indeed.
So yeah, where we left off last book
Is
was
somewhere.
Her screaming Damon.
Yo, yes, that's right.
Damon! Because Stefan's missing, and Elena knows that Damon has something to do with it, and half the town thinks that Stefan's a murderer.
Yes.
So that's that, and we pick up immediately, like
her screaming Damon over and over
yes.
again.
Damon,
Yes.
Damon, Jude.
No,
Jude.
No,
the audio book opens with literally the exact same audio clip that we ended the last book on.
Yeah.
And then it goes on from there. Fucking, she's so dramatic. You've known this guy a week. Okay, not actually a week, but they've had about a week.
It's been actually a couple months.
But they've had
But you
about a
haven't
week's worth of
spoken.
conversation.
Yeah, they
those couple of
speak
months.
like 4 times.
If they speak, it's not on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longest conversation they had was him being like, yeah, so this is how I became a vampire, and like, let's drink your blood now. And she's like, cool, let's do that. Like, that's the longest conversation they've had. Yeah. Also
and they're not, sorry.
Somewhere in this book, because like, there's multiple times where she's like, do I tell my friends that he's a vampire? Do I not tell them that he's a vampire? All that stuff. She's like, but I almost yeeted the fuck out of there when I found out. So how, and I love him. So how can I expect them to take it well? I'm like, you did not. You found him eating a bird and gone, wow, this is weird. Tell me why. And he's like, this is why. And she's like, okay, here's my blood. You did not yeet or even like, try to or think to.
And he's like, you want sucky me? And she's like, okay.
Okay. The blood sharing in this is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's written so weirdly. Because the part of the problem is that this book is not descriptive. It's just like, and then nothing happened, and nothing happened, and nothing happened. And then here's a detailed thing. And you're like, you can write details? Okay, I'm so confused. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a bit of a...
Were books just like this in the 90s? Like, how did this...
because Outlander came out in the 90s, and it's detailed as fuck.
How did this get published? I would like to speak to people who greenlit this and didn't, like, edit the fuck out of it.
I don't know.
Maybe this is what YA was like back then.
Possibly.
Yeah, because Outlander is definitely not.
I know that Harry Potter is a YA, but Harry Potter majorly came out in the 90s too. And
So what were people
not
thinking?
majorly, started to. And like Harry Potter, the first few books are incredibly simplistic, but they're targeted to 11-year-olds, so it's fine. But I feel like the book targeted towards 11-year-old had more character development and more descriptions.
Oh yeah,
in it.
for sure. Like the other thing is just, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a reason why people self-publish. There's a lot of good stuff that does not get published. So how did like this and House of Night get fucking published? That's the thing.
I don't know.
That's funny is like there's some really awful self-published stuff. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but there's a lot of really good self-published stuff. And I'm not just saying that for. I mean, I am, but that's not the point.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of really good self-published stuff and so much garbage. Do people read it, or is it just like this person has connections, so we're just gonna publish it? I think that has to be what happens.
I don't know. Like, I mean, because I also know that, like in terms of like the good versus bad self-published stuff, there's plenty of stuff that I read. Like, I've read that self-published. I'm like, I don't enjoy this at all, but I can see how it has an audience.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like military fiction. I don't like military fiction. Not my thing. But I know that it's got an audience. And it's fine. Like, I can admit that that's a good piece of writing, just not to my taste. And a lot of the self-published stuff that I've actually been able to start to read and not enjoyed it, it's more that. But there's also, like, you read an excerpt of a lot of self-published stuff and you're like... like that quote I sent you guys the other day. We are brothers.
Oh God.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That is a story for another time.
That is a story for another time.
when we're a little further removed from the situation.
Yeah.
But
give
yeah,
it a year and we'll reference this.
Yeah, give it a year, remind us, and we will.
Story.
We'll do a story time.
God.
Yeah, I think they have to have really good agents. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
That said though, as well, like early 90s was like that really like angsty period of like, that was like the Nirvana period and shit like that. So maybe this would have sold well during like parallel to Nirvana.
Well, and also, moreover, when it comes to traditional publishing, even if your stuff is good, you have to have a really good agent.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter, like, the quality. You're not going to get published unless you have a really good agent.
It is the rare individual that manages to just go, I shall send in my manuscript and hope for the best, and then they get the best. That is a very rare occurrence. Yeah,
you need an agent.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny, like, you read about some of these series that really struggle to get published. Like, like Harry Potter, one of the most popular, biggest selling series of all time. I think it's the biggest selling series of all time.
Yeah.
She struggled to get published.
Yeah.
Because she didn't know, like, she was like a poor as fuck single mother, so she didn't know people. And then someone's like, oh yeah, this looks like a good idea, and it was the best decision that person ever made.
Yeah, that person's riches.
Hell. They got all of the promotions after that. They got literally all of them, guaranteed.
Well, and then, but the thing about self-publishing is, you can guaranteed to publish something at least.
Yeah.
Don't have to rely on other people. Also,
like, traditionally published books, it's amazing how long it takes, even if you're guaranteed to be published.
Well, because you've got all the fucking bureaucracy behind it all as well. Because, like, then the higher ups at the freaking publishing house and all that stuff, they're like, well, no, we kind of want to go in this direction. Then you have to spend all day arguing with your editor versus what the publisher wants versus what your artistic vision wants. And the editor's like, let's try and all be friends. And they're like, but no, we can't because, we're employing you and it's a thing.
Yeah. And then also you're bound to a certain number of books usually. And it's probably not the number of books that fits the story that well.
Yeah, and depending on what kind of series you're writing, that could be fine. Maybe also depending on whether or not you've got that many stories in you. Like for example, Mercy Thompson, that series could have been 3 books long. It could be 20 books long. Who knows? Who cares? Well, not who cares, but because it's not an overarching.
Yeah, they're
story.
Snippets essentially.
Yeah, they're very episodic, and it's a very episodic series.
Yeah, so as long as Patricia Briggs can keep coming up with, standalone stories to fit the world, then she can write as many books as she wants and it's fine. Whereas the Vampire Academy, Strange Angels, all those are all sub-stories within the overarching story. So,
and also probably signed on to do a certain number of books, and then they had to extend the plot throughout the certain number of books.
Strange Angels. And I'm sorry that we're not 6 feet apart, Jack, but we've already ruined it, so.
We've touched the same things, like the Dr. Pepper bottle I just had. We both touched that.
Also, we're living together, so.
This next week.
Yes.
Sorry. We're not out in public.
Yes,
and also, actually, depending on the state as well, if you have a house guest that stays for more than 3 days and then they refuse to leave, you actually have to evict them. So, if she's going to be there for more than 3 days, technically she lives with you temporarily. Because you can't make her leave.
All right, well, I'm going to evict you sometime next week. Sorry, TJ, you gotta get the fuck out of my house.
But given that I live here like 25% of my time, yeah.
And also like it's also one of the perks of being like introverted. Like you don't really see people in general, so like you've got little to no risk of exposure in the first place.
Yeah.
But back to book, I guess.
We've both been separated for like over 2 weeks. We know we don't have the COVIDs. Supposedly.
Well, there's a study in France that says that nicotine will suppress symptoms. So if we have it or had it, we might not know about it.
So everyone, if you want to stay safe from the symptoms, start smoking.
Go get you a vape. They're essential.
Yes, they are essential. I mean, I guess unless you live in the South where everything's now essential and everything's open again.
I just think it's funny that like the vape shops got to stay open because they were trying to ban vaping, and then they were like, vaping's essential. And I'm like, who's the congressman that started vaping while they were trying to ban vaping? Like, who did Trump? Oh, that was cute. Did Trump get like a vape and was like, you know what? Never mind. It's essential.
I like this.
This is fine.
Is fundamental. Okay, so the plot, because we keep talking about other stuff because there's no plot.
So Damon shows up and she slaps him.
Yep. She's like, "Where's Stefan?" And he's like, "I don't know."
He's like, "Who's Stefan? My piece of shit little brother. That's Stefan." Right.
No. You're not. You need to like weird, like rapey Italian accent.
Oh my god.
Damon dialogue.
The Italian accents in the audiobook are a mess.
It doesn't even sound Italian. I don't know what it sounds like, but it doesn't sound
Thank God in the TV show they didn't give them accents.
Yeah, I think that's why they decided to make them from the exact same place that Elena lives now. I think that's why they did that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, then he's like, "I'll turn you to a vampire if you would like me to, and then we can fuck, and you'll forget about Stefan." And she's like, "What? No, Stefan and I are gonna be together forever. Are you kidding me? And I'll hate you forever. I'll never want you." And he's like, "Yo, you and I are gonna be fucking by the time winter comes, right? And it's November, so like winter is coming." He literally says winter is coming, and I was like,
Did the Vampire Diaries protect him from?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, also, by the way, that Stefan kid you were talking about, yeah, I murdered him. Bye!
Does she, at this point, still not know if they're bros?
I think she knows. That
No. He knows. She knows because Stefan in the long story thing.
Yeah, told.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember
Yes.
because the Italian accents didn't give it away for her, so I don't know if like being directly told would give it away for her.
Oh, and then when she sees sees Damon again after like hearing that they're brothers, she's like, I don't know how I didn't notice it before. They look almost identical.
Okay.
I mean, this chick also, like, when she first heard David speak, she was like, he had an accent that I couldn't place. Meanwhile, it's the exact same accent as Stefan's, because they grew up in the exact same place and they have the same accent.
So somehow she can't place an accent that she hears. Well, you know what? In fairness to her, she does. She never hears that accent, so
because Stefan never talks to her.
She wouldn't know what it sounds like.
But the funny thing as well is, like, it also doesn't click for Elena that, hey, two random guys with accents show up in town at the exact same time and they look kind of similar. And their accents are kind of similar. But she doesn't realize that they're connected until,
she's
into
explicitly told.
Elena's not that bright.
No, she's not.
Because her first thought after Damon yeets is like, she's like, no, if Stefan were dead, I would know. I would feel it.
That's not how that works.
And so she starts to look to see where his car was abandoned at. She gets real cold, so she sits down, and Bonnie and Meredith show up, and they're like, bitch, where the fuck we've been looking for you. So they take her home. Police are trying to find Stefan, etc. And
poor Aunt Judith as well. Like, the police keep rocking up. The police keep rocking up at her doorstep, and they're like, "Where's Elena?" And she's like, "I don't know."
She's like, "I have a really unruly 17-year-old right now, and a 4-year-old that's just an angel."
Like, yeah, like they're like, Aunt Judith's probably thinking, like, "Yeah, no, like, I don't blame you if you take Elena off of me, but please don't take Margaret."
Yeah, right.
Please.
Like, I know where Margaret is at all times. She's 4, so it's very easy to know, but still.
And she's also not a fucking overly dramatic queen sociopath.
Queen of the school.
Like, Elena's just she's psychotic. She's literally psychotic.
Elena's a mess.
She is. And she's like, Stefan wouldn't kill anyone. I know he wouldn't do that. And
I know in my soul.
She was like, literally all the evidence points to him. Like, I don't want you saying Stefan. You know what I mean? And then Matt shows up, and she's like such a cunt to Matt.
For no reason.
I know.
I'm like,
you know what, though? Like, and I think this might just be the fact that, like, nice guys just, can't stand him. Part of me is just like, Matt, you kind of deserve it. Because you keep letting her do it, and you don't tell her to just go fuck herself.
Yeah.
So every single time he gives in to her, I'm losing sympathy for him.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. And so Bonnie and Meredith are going to spend the night so that Elena doesn't yeet away to try to find Stefan. But then they do anyways, because she's like, I know who killed these people. And then internally she's like, I can't tell them because he's a vampire and I can't tell them about vampires.
Well, you already told them that you know who killed.
Yeah, right. So she's like being super vague about it. And she's like, Bonnie, can you find Stefan? And yeah.
So then Bonnie's like, I cold and it's cramped and it's cold and I'm
wet. Yeah.
But then her voice changes and she's like, don't go to the bridge, Elena. You will die.
Yeah.
And then Elena's like, so Stefan's at the bridge, okay.
And so they sneak out to go to the bridge.
And Stefan's not at the bridge.
No, he's not. But Matt's here. Matt stalked them to the bridge because, duh. And this is when they're like, oh yeah, Matt, Bonnie's psychic. And he's like, I don't have words for you.
Yeah.
where the fuck, like, okay, fine, where's Stefan? I'll bite. So they figure out he's in a well.
And then they just happen to find the
Matt
specific well.
just so happens to know all the wells in like the city, and he's like, oh well, there's this old one that's just like right over there.
Because of course.
So they go, they get him out of the hole, and they're like, you need a doctor, and Stefan's like, no,
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want a doctor.
And then so Elena's like, Bonnie, your sister is all of the nurses. Is it Bonnie's? Or is it Meredith's?
Yep, Bonnie.
Okay, Bonnie, your sister is a nurse. All three of you must go and collect the nurse.
Yep.
And then she's like, hey, Stefan, I've pricked my finger. Have a suck.
And like,
and a finger suck makes him better.
Yeah, it makes him better enough that when Bonnie's sister actually shows up, that she's like, you should still go to a doctor, but like, you're fine.
But like the whole thing though, before he agrees to the finger suck was so dramatic. He's like, I want to, but I can't. But I want to, but I can't. And she's like, but you must.
An altercation of just like, Elena, you can't do that to me.
At least they're talking.
Yeah, at least they're having conversation, but it's not productive conversation. And
like, I can't even remember if he agrees to or if she just shoves her finger in his mouth.
I think she just like so they end up going back home, and the girls are like, oh, the bridge didn't kill you, and Elena's like, not this time.
Shut up, Elena. What does that even mean?
We find out what it means.
Elena. Jesus.
And so then she goes to school. Oh, because also when she goes back to school the next day, right? And everyone's whispering about her. And she's like, but why? And it's like, because you just like, you screamed at your class yesterday saying, if he hurt him, I'll kill him. And then you yeeted.
I have some food for you.
Sorry, I have a food delivery. Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that a mushroom?
Yes.
Nom, 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 nom. Thank you. Do you want to go give that to Daddy?
No, thanks. It's for you.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
And I'm a cat.
She's a cat.
She's writhing. She's writhing. Hang on. Tell her to look. There's a real.
What does a cat say?
Meow.
Is that a cat?
Meow. Meow.
Cassie's very
Cassie,
unhappy.
are you happy with the situation?
Nope.
Oh no. She doesn't like being held very much.
Meow.
Don't know if you can hear her meowing, but she
I can.
is. Okay. Do you want to go back to Daddy now? Oh. Would you guys like to meet Sean?
Yeah.
Yes.
To Goose. What are you doing?
It's Sean. It's not her.
Okay. Go out to Daddy now, please. Fine, I will text Daddy and say, come collect your daughter.
Come collect.
Come collect your
Fine,
child.
I will text Daddy and say, come collect your cat.
And this is a chicken.
Okay. Sorry.
And it's a food. It's a food for a cat.
Is it food for a cat?
Mm.
And now she's eating the food.
Excuse me?
Yes?
But I'm a cat.
You are a cat.
Mm.
I texted Daddy to say, come collect your cat, okay?
Meow,
Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a lovely intermission.
Give me this.
He's having this born struggle. Okay.
I want this to go.
Okay, cat. Wait. It's okay, kitten. It's okay. Oh. Do you want to go watch Bluey? Oh, now she's sad.
It's okay. We will release Mother soon, so you can spend Mother's Day with your mother. That was directed at the kitten, not at you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aww.
baby.
now I feel like a bad parent.
It's okay. She'll forget about this in like 2 hours.
No, she's very like honestly. If you're gonna assign her an animal, she would be a cat. She holds grudges, whereas the
Do you
boy is
hold
very much like a
grudges?
dog.
She does. She's just too nice to admit it. The cat's right off camera.
Oh, Daddy's mouth is making her sad. It's really funny. Like when she gets upset with, like, if you say something she doesn't like, she starts to cry, and it's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "You used your mouth."
Oh.
You can't just say that. Hey, you can't say that.
No, and then it's like, "What did I say?" And she goes, "You made me like it just. You said words and made me sad." Like it's always just like this vague. You used your mouth. You said words with your mouth,
And now I'm sad.
and now I'm sad. And as she's in a bedroom, I think she needs quiet time now. She could have just
Like,
gone.
She's angrily meowing at him.
4-year-olds, what can I say?
Yeah, right. Like, children be children.
I mean, it was sweet, but then she didn't leave, and it honestly would have been just us hearing, "Excuse me, excuse me."
Like, yes.
Honestly, like I mean, I'm glad that she's polite, but also if we're already mid conversation, you don't need to then follow up, start every sentence with "Excuse me," like because she does.
Shut up.
Can you guys still hear her?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. I'll just mute myself for a bit. She's gonna calm down shortly. It's fine.
It's okay.
No, you're
Yeah, you're
fine.
fine.
You are fine. We were reacting to something else.
Yes, we were.
Okay.
No, you're good. Anyways, we're at school, and Alaric is now the teacher. We found him
Yes.
on such short notice.
Yes. Like literally 2 days notice.
Yes. And
Yeah, like he's not even a sub. He's like literally the replacement. They replaced.
Yeah.
They found the replacement in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least like in the show, it takes a minute, or at least it feels like it takes a minute
Yeah.
betwixt them.
Yeah, like generally, like you got a sub. You got to get a sub for a bit, because also like it's the very beginning of the school year, so no one's like pissed off at their current places enough to like yeet to a new placement yet.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I guess it's not the beginning of the school year. It just feels like it because it's
It's
fucking-
November, so I guess Alaric
Okay,
just
yeah.
didn't have a job. Bless you.
Thank you.
And like Alaric was just like, "Wait, there's a job opening in the middle of a school year? Fuck yeah!"
I get to work.
Yeah, I get paid.
Recent graduate gets to work like right now. Yeah, I guess that was his thing. Thank you, check.
And oh yeah, and we see some weird interactions between Caroline and Tyler at this point. They're definitely fucking. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, so I guess that's where that comes from. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're fucking.
Yeah, because
Stefan,
Tyler starts to do his fucking like standing on the. He's like 2 seconds away from standing on his desk with a torch and pitchfork, being like, "Let's hunt the Stefan," and Caroline's like, and he's like, "Okay."
yeah, right. And
Like
Laura,
she goes at him.
yeah, stupid.
From Elena's perspective.
And Laura does the favorite teacher thing ever when he says, "Everyone, put your desks in a circle. We're gonna have a talk." I fucking hated that shit.
Yeah, but then it's weird because then he's like, "So who was there when the teacher was found dead, brutally murdered?" And everyone's like, "Oh, I guess we're kind of over." And he's like, "Who found the body?" And Bonnie's like, "Me." He's like, "Tell us about it."
Yeah, and he makes Bonnie tell like intimate details about finding Mr. Tanner's dead body, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that would be traumatic. I'm really sorry."
Well, because what he's trying to do is like do a student circle jerk where they talk about their feelings. So a student emotion jerk.
And I'm really hoping that he is a hunter in the books. Because it makes sense, and I'm reading it from the perspective of he's trying to flush out who he needs to.
Same. And
yeah, but like also, even if he is a hunter, this is like the least stealthy way to do it.
I know, right?
Not stealthy.
This is what he does next, where he's like, "All right, I'm inviting the entire school to my house.
You can't just do that, Rick.
We're gonna have a party. You're gonna spend the night if you need to. You get plastered, you can just fine."
You can't encourage high school students to get plastered. You are a teacher.
It's very.
It is. Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, it's also just very inappropriate. "Dear class of high school students, please attend my humble abode this evening."
Yeah,
right.
And it's a pass-fail event.
Yeah, he's like, and participation is like 75% of your grade. So that's like if you don't.
So like if
here,
you don't do 30 Jello shots.
I'm failing you. If you
don't make drunk mom proud, then what can I say?
If you don't die tonight from alcohol poisoning, you're failed.
You failed my class. Is more or less what he says. Mostly less, but more or less what he says.
Wait, this one comes through on here.
So inappropriate teacher does inappropriate teacher things. And then they have to comfort Bonnie for a minute.
Bay. Look at the screen, Bay.
Oh.
College professors will take students out for drinks.
They will.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe in college that's fine.
Yeah, in college that's fine.
One of my professors did it at the end of the semester. He took us all out for a drink.
I've had 2 professors do that, one in undergrad and then one in grad school.
It's fun.
It is very fun.
It's very fun.
It's so fun because you get to ask them like personal questions. Like the first time it happened, we were all like, "All right, dude, so why the fuck are you teaching here? You're from fucking Boston. Like, what are you doing? You taught at Harvard. Why are you down here in Georgia?" And he was like, "Can't ask me that." And we're like, "We're not your students anymore. What the fuck are you doing here?"
Why?
Well, when we went out, it actually saved all of our grades because we all sucked at taking his tests. Everybody except for this one guy.
Oh, God.
But he was like perfect at everything. But everybody except Mr. Perfect was all aboard the struggle bus in this class. And then we went out like for drinks, and we were talking to him about all the stuff we'd learned. And because we all really liked the class, we were all very excited and stuff. And then I guess he was just like, "Oh,
maybe you just don't test well."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you guys are just shit test takers," and then curved us all up to A's and B's. Because he was like, because he was like, clearly you retained information. You just couldn't regurgitate it to me on paper. Okay.
I'll give you good grades.
So we all went from like failing and getting C's to just like all of a sudden I got my grade for that class. I was like, why is it a B? What is happening?
What the fuck is this? One of my food things got left. Okay, so that's the front. Like, it's all supposed to be like food stuff, right?
Is that a weird mushroom?
No, I think it's supposed to be a nut, but look at the back. It looks like a brain.
What is that?
It looks like the exterior of a walnut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does that look like the inside of a
Did you
walnut?
buy those for her?
No, so Coles and
Doesn't seem
Woolworths,
like
that's
a
your
you
major
thing to
supermarket
buy.
things. No, they if you spend over X amount of money, you get like they run different things. I think these are called stickies because they stick to stuff. Like
Oh, they have
okay.
it
little
won't stick to my finger, but yeah, it's got little suction cups on the bottom. Woolworths had a really good one last year where you got plants, like seeds.
No.
We still haven't planted ours yet, but we have them. And the service station that is related to Coles near our house, because we go there so often for Red Bull. When Stixie went there yesterday, the guy was like, "Do you have kids?" And he's like, "Yeah," and then gave him like 30.
He's like, I want rid of these fucks. Take them to your spawn.
And it was funny though, because Stixie's just like, I have kids, because the guy a couple weeks ago I went there because it's usually Stixie that goes, and he's like, the car that you're driving, it's usually a guy that drives it. It's like this like freaking like 40-year-old Indian dude, right? He's like, it's usually a guy that drives it. I'm like, yes it is. And he's like, so is he like your brother?
No.
You were
And
like,
I
no,
was like-
that is the father of my children. Thank you.
That was actually my response. He's like, oh, so you have kids? And I was like, yes, we have 2. And we are very happy together.
Like, yes, we have 19, and
in fact, I'm pregnant right now. So
and in fact,
don't
I'm
speak to
pregnant
me.
right now, and so I cannot be seen with another man. Okay, bye.
And even if we weren't happy together, it wouldn't be you, Mr. Service Station Man.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I sound like such a snob. I'm sorry. Carry on.
So Elena
I'm children to feed. Okay.
Yes, you do. Elena confronts Caroline because Caroline's been acting like sketch. And Caroline's like, bitch, I'm queen bee now, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's
and-
right. Caroline has committed regicide and taken over.
Because
There's been a coup.
Elena's dating Stefan and everyone thinks Stefan murdered people. So like she's
So
falling down the social
So Caroline's
chain.
like, I'm queen bee now.
Yes.
I'm glad my hair's been longer long enough to like whack you in the face.
Yeah,
when
that
I
would
do
not be fun.
That would have. I was like, oh no. Then I was like, oh, it's short now. It's fine.
And her and Stefan. My next note is her and Stefan actually speak now. Apparently. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's during this conversation or later, but like Elaine is also like, the police spoke to Stefan and they cleared him of all charges. And I'm like, no, they literally just had zero evidence. They didn't clear him.
She does say that in this conversation.
Yeah, they didn't clear him. There was just literally no evidence against him.
Yeah.
All they had was circumstantial timing.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you can't arrest someone just based on the fact that you know that they were in an area.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how the justice system works. So they didn't clear Stefan. They didn't say, oh no, there is no way you could have done a thing.
I'm sorry. I just got a very ominous text
Yeah, I was
message.
about to say you should send that tomorrow.
I'm gonna send this to you.
Okay.
And so yeah, her and Stefan speak now apparently, and he's like, maybe we shouldn't be together. And she throws a fucking bitch fit, a total conniption fit, freaking out. And he's like, fine, mwah, and kisses her.
He's
Fine,
like, I love
mwah.
you, baby. And she's like, I love you too, Stefan.
Yeah.
Stefano.
There's also, I imagine that there is also like a lot of heavy breathing in their conversations.
Like, like I don't know what that means.
They're
but
just
okay.
they're just so angsty. So I can just imagine like, I love you too. Like it just feels like that kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I can't even think of a typo that could be.
There is.
Oh no. He meant it like that, and it's not that I'm opposed. I just like to know why.
So Stefan's at her house, I think, to figure out to go to the party at the teacher's house. And he's like, we're in his perspective, and he's like, I love her so deeply, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm like, y'all have never spoken.
Yeah, right. And he's
But-
like, I can't drink her blood no more. Is it a good reason?
Oh yes, it is.
Okay, send. While
yeah.
you're doing that as well, like pre-party, he's at her place for dinner or something, and Elena's like, "Aren't you?" Is like she's trying to be nice, but she's also like thoroughly disappointed.
I did.
Oh no!
It's an accident.
You send it to
Screenshot
people.
it and then send it back to him.
Let's be honest, though.
He
He
already
knows what's what. He
Yeah.
knows what's what.
Send her that too. So he's like, "Oof, I really can't drink her blood anymore. This is not good for me, son." Anyways, they're going to the party. They're calling it a party. Oh god.
Honestly, I'm just surprised that hasn't happened before.
Oh,
He tried to save me.
I tried. I was like, no. So they can't find Alaric at the party. He's just kind of, I guess, there somewhere in the background. We're having small talk, and then who do we see other than Damon Smith? That's what he's calling himself.
yes, because I'm sure one thing that really bugs me is that no one's like, "Oh yeah, the heavily accented guy,"
His
Like,
last name is
Italian-
Smith.
and no one questions it. Have you
Um,
ever met a heavily accented Italian with the surname?
Name yourself something like Damon Udicello,
Cello.
which is what Stefan and Mercy Thompson is named. That's his name.
like just pick. There are so many like freaking like even just. It doesn't even have to be a real surname. It just needs to sound like vaguely like.
Just say
He
something
could've-
in Italian.
He could have named himself Damon Bolognese and it would have worked.
Yeah.
Damon Fettuccine. Fettuccine Alfredo. And everybody would have been like, yeah, okay, guess fair play.
Like it would have worked better than Smith, but apparently Smith works. So because apparently everyone in Fell's Church is dumb. Also, just before as well, pre-ominous was sweet.
What?
You know how you sent me the
Oh, oh,
the
yes.
pre-ominous stuff was sweet.
Yes, it was.
Yes. That's what I went at earlier.
Because it popped up on my computer.
Yeah. So I get to snoop while we're here. So
You might hopefully nothing
No,
inappropriate
it's
comes
totally
through.
fine. It's
even if something bad did come in, I would just be like, I didn't see it. Fuck.
We're not in trouble for that mishap, by the way. Everything's fine.
Jesus.
I'm gonna say people know you well enough.
Yeah, people know that everything goes to the council.
So she's talking to Damon, and she literally almost kisses him again because she has a problem whenever she sees Damon. She's like, I just want to fuck him, but I don't because I love Stefan.
Do you?
Do you
And-
really?
You know what's funny? Her and Damon have more conversations than her and Stefan.
Yeah, right.
Which is not good.
And so this girl named Sue brought him. They think he's a college student from like William and Mary or something like that. And Stefan has like walked up, and then they're like have this eye hatred conversation. And then Damon flirts with Bonnie. He kisses her, I think.
Which is just so funny to think about.
I
So
don't think
Bonnie.
he kisses her. I don't think he doesn't kiss her on page. I don't think. I know that they make out after
At this
they
party.
leave.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's very weird to think about Bonnie and Damon making out.
Yeah.
I know. Until you remember that in this, like Bonnie's like a 5 foot
More
redhead.
ginger. Yeah. And so Elena
Actually, that kind
Stefan
of makes it even. That actually kind of makes it even funnier because like Ian's pretty friggin' tall.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to picture him making out with a 5 foot tall chick.
You're just like he's just like bent in half, doing his best.
There was a guy that I went to school with that in year 12 he was 6'11" and he's grown since then. But one of his girlfriends at school when he was like still in the highest, I think he would have been about 6'9", maybe 6'10" at this point because it was like year 10 or 11. He was dating like the shortest girl in our grade.
So it's like Shaquille O'Neal
she came up to his elbow.
Yeah, so it's Shaquille O'Neal and his wife or girlfriend. So Stefan and Elena are yeeting, but she finds a note attached to her purse, but we don't see what the note says yet. And Stefan is just like all of the grr right now, and she's like, "How is he there? Like, there's ordinary people here." And Stefan's offended by this. What?
Nothing. That just what you just like. Yeah,
there's ordinary people here, and Stefan's like, "Grr, now at you, Elena." And she decides that
she's like, look, you're not normal, but you're not like abnormal either. Like you're like semi-normal. It's fine.
Level.
Yeah. So Stefan's all.
Yeah. And she decides.
And then she's like, so how did he ever get in? And he's like, he literally just needed an invitation, but we didn't invite him into the gym. Public building, Elena.
Yeah.
Fucking like. I will say one thing. Okay, so. We established the inviting people in rules, which I think is stupid because you don't actually have to live there to invite someone in. Most places where you have to invite the vampire in, like most laws, it has to be
in the
a
show,
resident.
I think it's like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Even
because that's normal.
Even though
I noticed something in the show. So the originals were able to enter the house without Elena's permission, like the Salvatore house.
But Elena doesn't own the house.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, they
signed the house over to her in like season 2
to keep Damon out or something.
No, not to keep Damon out. To keep Elijah out. I think
someone out. I forget. Yeah.
I think they probably just forgot that.
Yeah,
because it reapplies later.
Yeah, and like Rebecca just waltzed on in, and I was like, where's Elena?
Oh,
where's Elena to give her permission to enter the fucking house?
Yeah, I think they just forgot that they signed it over to Elena because like
I've seen that.
That's another.
Look, it's my favorite show. I've seen it so many times. I never noticed that.
I can't remember if I noticed that or not. But yeah, no, I think the writers probably just forgot.
Yeah, it's fine. I was just like.
Yeah, so the rules for places that need to be invited in, like if you're going camping, you're safe in your tent. Because anywhere that a human dwells, so if you're homeless and live in your car is safe. But unless someone invites a vampire, like anyone, like, you know, if you don't like someone, right, and you want them to be brutally murdered, you just go up to a vampire and say, hey, you see that house over there? Yeah, you can go in.
Which is not an effective thing at all. Yeah.
Yeah. But there has to be intent. So you don't even have to verbally say it. Like if your body language just implies like, come on in, then that counts.
In the show, it has to be like the person that lives there saying, you can come in.
Yeah.
So with that, Damon still should not have been allowed to get into Bonnie's house last book. Because she didn't have the intent of inviting him in.
Yeah, because Elena was the one saying come in. And Elena
but she didn't.
But she wasn't intending to invite
for Damon to come in,
Yeah, she wasn't saying, hello, stranger outside the house, please come on in. She was doing a spell and saying come in to the general universe. But so what happens? Oh yeah, so then she goes home and reads the note.
Not yet. So
No.
we get more lore here real quick.
Okay.
Where like the stronger your powers are, the more running water affects you.
Yes, because Stefan can cross the bridge, but Damon can't.
Yeah. Yes.
The more vampy you are, the more vampy restrictions you have.
Maggie got back to us.
Oh,
He
so
said
he's alive?
most of the discussions are in relation to role-playing games, mostly Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I saw him mention that all water that is not standing, aka lakes, ponds, etc., count as running water. And then the original Dracula story, he was able to safely travel safely while in contact with home soil. These two details suggest that vampires cannot swim in ocean/seas, but can be carried in their coffin aboard a boat or ship. Furthermore, as to the question of whether or not the oceans flow or not, there are currents that move in massive quantities of water across the world's surface, many larger than the Amazon in liters/gallons per second. Likewise, underwater rivers and lakes do exist for a number of reasons. Not all these rivers and lakes are composed of water, though. So it's ocean running water.
Can you just imagine, right, if there's an underwater river that no one knows about, right, and you're a vampire and you're like, tra-la-la-la-la, walking along, and then it's just like,
and then you're just dead.
And then you just, like, you're stuck, and you're like, why?
You're like, someone put me in a coffin and carry me.
Wait, but with some soil in his pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he needs his home soil.
Okay.
So we talked about Vervain also. Vervain now exists. And of course, Sun makes him make wooden stakes. They're huge. And Damon can turn into a crow. We established that he can only max really turn into 2 different animals, but he's probably just only crow.
Yeah.
And then Stefan says, "You've stolen my soul, Elena," and then he leaves.
You've stolen my soul.
And Judith is like,
hold on.
Murderer kid. Oh my god, are you saying that to him?
Yeah, I just want to see what happens.
What? You've stolen my soul?
Yes. I just want to see what happens. We're running an experiment. I want to see if out of context anybody finds this romantic.
Shall we repeat the experiment?
Yes, we should.
Mine don't text me back, so.
I just got what? So apparently not romantic.
Wait, I just heard a ping. So I think he's gotten it. He hasn't read it yet, though.
He's going to barge
So
in and
we'll see.
okay. I was like, is that not romantic?
Now he's typing.
And now he's typing.
What show or book is that from? Is what he said in response.
I got how ?
How?
Oh, I think he thinks like you've stolen my soul. Like, as in, like, how dare you?
That's what it sounds like. Okay.
I'm literally responding with the exact same thing you responded with.
Is that not romantic?
Yes.
I was like, the DVD books were running a show. We're running an experiment. Thank you for contributing to science.
So yeah, Judith is like, "Hey, you're gonna need to stop saying Stefan." She's like, "No." She runs upstairs after getting into a fight with Judith. And the note is like an excerpt of her diary that was stolen.
Yes, but we find out, we get more description of it later. It is on girly paper, but in masculine writing.
Yes.
Because it's on purple paper, but a boy wrote it.
And when she goes to school the next day, she finds another one tacked on the bulletin board, and so she finally has to tell her friends. And she's like, "Yeah, Damon's the one who murdered everyone," and Bonnie is like, "The guy I made out with murdered people? What?" But Vicky's back at school. Fun, yay.
And then
love
she
it
does
when
a
Vicky returns.
striptease.
And she starts stripping in the cafeteria, and Lena tries to help her, but she yells at Elena that she's evil, and then she runs away. And Bonnie, where they're talking about the murders later, and Bonnie is like, "Oh my god, murderers are kind of hot."
My thing, I got called out.
And Bonnie has a hard on for murderers. And they just keep talking about Damon. And then
Is it where does she start talking about how romantic it would be?
Yes, this is it.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, but wouldn't it be so romantic if he killed you? Like, if he was strangling you to death and the last thing you saw were his eyes?
No.
And
no.
And Meredith and Lorraine are like, no, Bonnie.
Bonnie, you want to die
not.
young, but stop.
Bonnie has an unhealthy obsession with dying young.
Yes, she does.
Weird.
And then
maybe that's why they made Bonnie die like 30 times in the show.
Maybe
she dies so many times in the show.
She's died like 3 times, I think, already.
Ultimately, she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, like, I'm sure you've noticed this by now, but like, if someone dies,
it's not
take it with a grain of salt.
I was like, just
permanent deaths.
I was like, just text me and I will tell you.
Yeah, like I know Jenna's permadead, but
yeah. So there's some people like, but the ones that are like when they die, they don't come back. They're the exception.
Yeah.
So like it's fine.
Like Lexi's permadead.
But we still see her a lot.
But we see her a lot. We see her quite a bit.
Because we fucking have ghosts.
Yes.
Fine. So Stefan is talking to Matt, and he's like, Matt, I need your car to get the specific flower from the Carolinas. And Matt's like, that's fucking weird. You know, people think you murdered someone, right? And Stefan's like, it's not suspicious. I just need a flower for Elena. And he's like, you stole my girlfriend. You think I'm going to let you borrow my car? Fuck it. I'm going with you.
Yeah, they're like, road trip to collect flowers for my ex-girlfriend who is now your girlfriend. Sounds like awesome bro time. And this is why I'm having less sympathy for Matt.
Yeah, right?
Because from his perspective, like, it's not like, Stefan's not like, hey, look, okay, here's the down low. My brother's a vampire.
Yeah.
And can control her mind unless she has the flower.
Yeah.
It's just, no, I want to get her these special flowers. And I need your car to do so. And Matt's like, sounds like a fun road trip. Let's go.
Yes.
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 And Elena's like, I need to spend the night at your house, Bonnie, because this is not okay. So I think she do, but first she's thinking about how much she only wants to marry Stefan, and he's gonna marry her and be perfect and great.
Mind you, they've still not spoken.
Don't speak.
They don't.
And also,
love
he's
advice.
not gonna die.
Love advice from Book Club with Bae. If you're dating somebody, they should talk to you.
Yeah.
And you should talk to them.
Yes,
and
you have to be speaking.
And if the two of you are like mutually planning mentally planning your wedding before you have had a 5-minute conversation in the totality of your relationship, you're both fucking crazy. It's toxic.
Yeah. And you should run from each other.
Yes. And
so she has a dream about Stefan that's not good. Damon's in the dream. She wakes up and Damon's bird is in the room. And she looks in the mirror and there's a vampire bite on her neck after she wakes up.
So who knows what could have happened there?
Who knows?
It's not really explained.
Yeah, it's not.
No. She's like, fuck. I invited Damon in to Bonnie's house last book.
Yeah,
Damon got in and did a bite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay, no, you're a dumb babe. Like, she explicitly states it.
So after she wakes up and got bit, she's like, Bonnie, come home with me. In the middle of the night, she makes...
yeah, they sneak out of Bonnie's house in the middle of the night and sneak
they go
into
to her house. And then later, or the next day, Stefan gives her vervain, and she makes him promise to never leave her. Dope. Bonnie has a dream that Elena murders a crow, And then another part of her diary is published in the school paper or in the town paper. I don't remember which. And they're like, okay, so Caroline definitely is doing this. Like, this is a Caroline fucking move here. And then at school, it's confirmed because she overhears Caroline and Tyler talking about it.
Yeah.
And she also overhears them fuck.
Caroline likes the photo lab. Yeah. And
Is
they're like,
is Tyler a Wolfie boy in this? He is, right?
he is, but he's not yet, from memory.
Okay.
Yeah, from memory that is. But
Tyler Smallwood.
yeah. They overhear Caroline and Tyler being like, it's all set for the thingy, for the town anniversary event. Elena's going to be the spirit, and we shall expose him for who he is because of the ribbon.
Yep.
Like this is like what they're like. It's fucking. Their proof that Stefan murdered people was that he picked up Elena's ribbon.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah, it does indicate that he was in the graveyard at some point, but like, who knows? But like, a ribbon could have been there for like a month before he found it, as well. Like,
Yeah.
because Elena didn't find it for weeks after she lost it. So like, it's like, yes, Stefan was in the graveyard from some point between this date and this date, or he just also bought if for some reason he also might just carry an apricot ribbon.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
there's no proof that it's Elena's ribbon. We know that it's Elena's ribbon, but the police would be like, it's a ribbon.
Yeah, like, that's not proof.
Yeah, because also Elena bought the ribbon from somewhere. Stefan could have bought the same ribbon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit weird, but he could have.
Yeah.
He's Italian. Like,
It's weird.
That's
like literally every time Stefan does something weird, it can just be explained by, he's Italian, it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like, explaining something as like, oh, why is this weird? Oh, it's French.
Yeah.
It's foreign.
And so she doesn't trust Alaric for some reason.
Maybe because he's fucking weird.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's weird. And so she overhears some people talking about Damon. She's like, don't trust him. Like, she's totally not suspicious at all about it. She just yells at people for talking about Damon. It's fine. Anyways, the girls go home. They have a plan to get the diary back. And Bonnie's like, I don't like this because they're going to go break into Caroline's house when no one's there. And Bonnie's like, I don't like this. And Meredith's like, do you not remember the blood oath? We have to do anything Elena says.
It was in regards to Stefan.
It is in regards to Stefan because Stefan's going to get hurt.
She said it was to make... She was like, that was until they got together. And they're like, no. For eternity. Forever.
Yeah.
Anything Stefan related, we must do.
Yeah, and Elena's like, this is the last thing I'm going to ask. And Meredith's like, don't fucking say that. Don't say that.
Like Meredith, Meredith, she's a bro, she's a good friend, but also she's kind of like almost Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a little minion.
It's like Monica and the Monica-ettes.
Yeah.
From Morganville.
Yeah. We need to do Morganville.
We do.
So badly. I know it's not a bad book series, but Addie, if you would like to join us for Morganville, you are welcome because have you read Morganville?
No.
You would like it. I think.
Wow.
It's about vampires. It's actually quite like
Google Morganville and it pulls up somewhere in fucking New Jersey. Books.
Don't watch the web series. Don't do it.
The web series is so good.
This font is straight from Picnic. You remember that website Picnic? From back in the day. Did I just unlock a deep memory?
You did! Oh my god.
That's 15 fucking books.
But they are so good.
They're really good though. And it's actually like for vampires, it's very creative.
So many books.
And for YA, the protagonist, for a YA protagonist who always does what she's told not to do, she's likable.
Yeah.
Usually, you'll like for someone who ends up in so many she almost dies situation, you're still not like you're an idiot. Please die.
Because whenever she does something like that she's told not to do, there's a reason for it usually.
And it makes sense.
And it makes sense. You're like, I would do that too. Even if it doesn't work out.
No, it's such a good series.
It is a good series. You'd enjoy it.
Like I've re-listened to it as adult, and yeah, it holds up.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Moving on.
Moving
So
on.
she's talking
Yes,
to her
back to the
diary.
bad book.
Yeah,
Yes.
back to
She's talking to her diary about how she's lying to everyone, and she's so sad about it.
How are you though?
And she's like, I want to marry Stefan, but he still wears Catherine's ring around his neck, and that makes me really uncomfortable. And he's so emotionally distant, but I want to marry him. So let's break into Caroline's house now. So we do. There's no sign of the real diary, but they did find Caroline's, and there's just entries about Elena and everyone else about how they're just bitches. So literally it.
Yeah, it's effectively like the Mean Girls burn book.
Yeah, and so the family comes home. She makes Bonnie and Meredith escape, but she stays, and Damon shows up to like rescue her. And he's like, I will have you. If you want your diary, I'll get it for you. But in exchange, I want some time alone with you, and I want some of your blood. And she's like, no. And that's really bad. And then they're like, how else should we get the diary? I don't know. Then we're to Vicky. She's still weird. She's trying to seduce Tyler in front of the entire school. She's like growling
Like she
at
tries
him.
and
She tries to
like
bite him.
putting her hand up his shirt, and like she was 2 seconds away from undoing his pants and giving him a hand job in the middle of the hallway in front of her boyfriend.
And like Tyler starts howling. Things are happening. Stefan shows up and is like, hey, it's time to go to sleep, but it's not working. People are calling the cops. Vicky's getting taken away. It's a fucking that was a wild trip. And Damon, it's revealed that Damon's influencing her.
Yeah,
but why?
Like, honestly,
Like-
Vicky would do that on her own, though. Wait, let's be honest. At least Vicky from the show.
I know, but it's like, why?
Hate her.
I really hope that Damon
Who's your favorite
explains why
character?
he's doing
Fucking
this to
hate
Vicky.
Vicky.
Oh, wait, book Vicky or show Vicky?
All
Yes.
of the Vickies.
I hate, honestly, book Vicky I find more entertaining because like, yeah, she does
Book
Book
Vicky is
Vicky is
entertaining.
more entertaining.
But
Show
but
Vicky is just.
I can't stand show Vicky, and every
Right.
time she pops back up, I'm just like, why Vicky? Fuck off.
When I saw
Fuck
her
off.
when she came back as a ghost to Jeremy, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I think I texted her and I was like, what the fuck is this fucking horse shit?
Yeah, she was like, how long does this shit go on? And I was like,
Too long.
too long. We actually never get rid of Vicky because she's in the finale.
I fucking hate her.
She's a pivotal character in the finale.
I fucking hate her. And so
Yeah,
Stefan, I'm trying to think. So Stefan's blood. Stefan's power isn't up to par. So Elena again is like, want to suck my, my bloody blood? And he's like, no. How would you ever like offer that to me? And she's sad. She's sad about it.
honestly, you know what? You know what? I would feel a little bit rejected too.
Yeah, I would feel rejected.
It's like, you're like, okay, because they also describe it as quite erotic whenever like they have a blood exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, you have sex with your boyfriend like a few times, all that stuff, and then you're like, let's have sex, and he's like, why would I ever want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's Thanksgiving. Matt's coming to Thanksgiving.
Yes. For
And
some reason.
Damon is also coming to Thanksgiving because Judith's fiance met him and was like, "Oh, I'm so inviting this fuck."
And then they're like, hey, Elena, Damon seems like a pretty
And
cool
Judith is
guy.
like, "You should fuck Damon instead of Stefan because Stefan murdered people." And she's like, "What the fuck, Judith?"
Oh, we also learned when we got like our little lore lesson that animals don't like real
Don't like
animals
vampires.
don't like the vampy vamps.
Yeah, because Margaret, the little child, has a kitten. She found a kitten somewhere, and she was like, "Do you want to see kitten?" And like the cat starts flipping its shit at Damon.
No,
So Damon
no,
leaves.
she's showing Elena, and she's like, Elena, look at my cute
Oh.
little kitten. And Elena's like, hey, Damon, do you want the kitten? And shoves it in his face, and then the cat goes apeshit, and everyone's like, Elena.
Yeah.
Are
Like,
you
you're so
crazy?
fucking rude.
You got our guest attacked.
But he leaves, and he's like, I'll see you soon. And she's like, oh, he's gonna come back like tonight. I guess I have no choice what's gonna happen. I have no choice at all, and I can't tell Stefan.
Yeah, and then she's like, wait. Aunt Judith, did it go into the living room? Because the original structure, like all that's left of the original structure is the living room and her bedroom, which is immediately above it. She's like, did he go in the living room? And she's like, no, he just came straight into the dining room and then you did. Because you were rude.
Mm-hmm.
You weirdo. And she's like, excellent. So then, like, she's like chilling out. I don't buy this, okay?
I don't buy this either.
They're the same house.
Yeah, no, I put question marks
and it's
after every single
inconsequential.
note about
It's inconsequential anyway.
Yeah, because he comes in and he threatens Margaret, and she's like, fine, like, you can come into my bedroom.
Yeah.
Yes, he's at a bedroom door, and he's like, mwahaha, and then hits the invisible barrier, and he's like, oh, no, and Elena's like, oh, blast, if only this was part of the same structure that you're currently standing in. And he's like, okay, well, I'll go munch on your baby sister then. She's like,
is it not part of the same structure? Why does that matter?
I don't know.
Shouldn't.
It's added. So does this mean that if like you add a sunroom to the side of your house and you invite a vampire into the sun, like no, but I guess because there's a bedroom attached to the living room, so like it's a separate. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's the next morning, and she's like, I vaguely remember me biting him and him biting me and stuff like that, but, like, I don't understand why he didn't just kill me. I don't get it. And she's like, I also don't remember resisting him, though, so, like, I guess I wanted it. I don't know. And she's like, oh, my fucking diary. Where's my diary?
Where is it, Elena?
And she also goes into this. She's like, I'm afraid to say yes to Damon because what will happen? Because I know something's going to happen between us, and I can't betray Stefan like that, but I kind of want to.
Yeah. So we ultimately just get a shit ton of fucking that, and then they're like, does anything happen between, like, anything of consequence happen between now and her actually telling Stefan?
No. The next.
Do we want to just jump to
it?
What's the next part?
Which part is when? My notes right here. Wait, hold up. Y'all, hold up. Did he just propose to her with Catherine's ring?
Oh, that's right, because she's like, okay, because she's like, I need to talk to you, Stefan.
Yep.
And he's like, oh no, she's going to dump me. So she goes to his place, and she's like, so Caroline has my diary, and she's going to expose you as a murderer. Not a vampire, but a murderer.
Even though it says in her diary that he's a vampire.
No, it doesn't.
No, not in that one. It got taken before she found out.
Okay.
It's in her new diary, because she wrote it down in her new diary.
Yes.
Because we haven't learned our lesson.
No.
Well, well, as we learned from what she told her diary, I also don't know why she wrote that in her diary instead of just, like thinking it, because we're not in her diary the whole time. But she's like, I'm going to be hiding this under the floorboard in the hallway. And I'm like, you don't need, like, the only time you need to write that in your diary in the story, like in the story, is if the entire book is the diary.
Yeah.
But because we need to exposition somehow.
Yeah.
But there was no need for that. But Stefan's like, oh, I thought you were here to leave me, and instead you were here to tell me that you've been trying for 2 weeks to protect me because you love me ever so much.
And
you would know that if you guys spoke.
Yeah, and like in her internal dialogue, she's like, "Oh my gosh, we're so connected and a part of each other." And he bites her, tells her he loves her, and then they talk about Catherine for a minute, and he's like, "We shouldn't be," and she's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "We should be engaged." And she's like, I have to wait until I'm 18 to tell anyone.
Yep.
Cassie, what do we?
Fucking run is what we're gonna do.
And so they're gonna steal the diary after this after they get engaged. They're like, oh well, we'll just steal the diary at school tomorrow because like the Founders Day thing. Like they're like, we'll just steal it from her.
Yeah, they're like, well, she's gonna have to take the diary to read from it. So, like,
we'll steal it from her bag.
Yeah, because Bonnie's part of the thing as well, I think. So Bonnie and Elena's job is to locate where it is and where she leaves it, and then Meredith and Stefan are going to do a steely steal.
Yeah, but it's not going to work because Caroline is like wrapping the purse around her body the entire time, and Elena's just flipping shit. She's just freaking the fuck out, and because Caroline's about to start reading it, and the diary that Caroline.
I love like the whole fucking like preemptive shit where she's like, you all thought, because like Caroline's doing a reading at the end of the parade thing, and she's like, you all thought I was going to talk about things that happened 150 years ago, but instead I'm talking about today. There is a murderer in our midst, and I have the proof. Yep. And like it's like this whole big like grandstandy speech. She pulls the diary out. Elena's freaking the fuck out, and then she's like, hang on a second.
The diary's the wrong color.
Yeah, so, it's Caroline's diary.
So
Caroline literally just like runs off the stage.
She throws the diary at Elena. She chucks it at Elena and then runs away. And then Damon.
Why is it the wrong diary?
Because Damon.
Oh, okay.
Damon switched him out. And she wants to know why, so she follows him outside. And Aunt Judith, like, who has an Elena should marry Damon boner, is like, hey, look at you two. And Elena's not happy about this. Elena's like, stop encouraging this, you fucking bitch. I hate you so much. I love Stefan, blah, blah, blah. And Judith's fiance is like, you are being a cunt.
Being really rude.
And her emotions are bottling up. So she announces that she is engaged to Stefan.
And she's like, see, I have the receipts, bitch. And Damon's like, because he recognizes the ring, because it's Catherine's ring. And he's like, and so he storms off in a huff.
Yeah, and Elena's like, you're not my mom, you can't stab me. So she borrows Matt's car to go to Stefan's house. She's like, we're going to leave town.
I feel like we're supposed to be Team Elena here, right? But, like, any reasonable person would hear from their, like, let's take away the dodginess. Yeah, let's take away, like, the suspicion around Stefan for a moment. Like, just say he's, like, perfect dream guy. Any 17-year-old announcing that they are engaged is going to have it excuse you. You're not even out of high school yet.
Also, next question, are you pregnant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And then also, yes, Aunt Judith has, like, there is reason to suspect that Stefan has been killing and attacking people.
Exactly. So Aunt Judith and soon-to-be Uncle Robert have all of the rights to be like, you are fucking insane, you dumb child.
Yeah.
It's like when they tried to be like, hey, Aphrodite's mom is so unreasonable for hating vampires just because she watched her husband get brutally murdered by one.
Right.
Yeah, and we were like, that's a great reason to hate vampires.
Yeah. And on her drive over to Stefan's house, she's like, I don't need family. I don't need my friends. I just need Stefan. And I'm like, you're a dramatic 17-year-old.
She is.
Also, your friends have been nothing but good to you. Even when you don't deserve it.
They did a blood oath for you, bitch.
Like, honestly, the part of that whole, like, rant thing, like, that's the thing that I found most, like, rude, was like, but why? Meredith's the bro. Bonnie's like half the time a reluctant bro, but Meredith's the full-blown bro. Why?
Yeah. Oh, like, your friends are fine. Stop. And when she gets to the boarding house, she's like, someone's looking at me. And it's obviously Damon, so she tries to run away. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go to the river because Damon's going to be vulnerable to running water. But she falls into the river like a fucking dumbass. And we jump to Bonnie's perspective, and Bonnie's like, we must go to the bridge, she's drowning. And Stefan, like, they get there.
Oh, she crashes her car into the river.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's a whatever. She's 17.
Yeah, because she's being chased by Fog.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I must get to Stefan. But then the fog turns into wind and knocks a tree over. So then she's like, fuck, and then she goes to go over the bridge.
But then
I think it's heavily implied in this book that it's Damon doing all this, especially because like Catherine's ring and shit.
Yeah.
From memory though, it's not Damon.
Oh. Well, we'll see next book. And so Stefan is like holding her, and he's like, "Everyone must get the fuck out of here right now." And then we jump to he like puts her under. He's like, "I'm leaving her under this tree, guys. All right, dope."
Yeah, the willow, not the oak. Okay.
Yeah. And then we go to his perspective for the final chapter, and he's like, "I'm gonna break some vows," and so he goes and attacks Tyler and Caroline. I think
he almost kills Tyler.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Tyler's there with a bunch of his buds, and then so one of his buds like bumps into Stefan trying to get away from the monster, and he's like, "Oh, more blood!" So he like almost kills them all. Does he actually eat Caroline at all, or?
I think he does. It's very unclear.
Yeah. So he may or may not have fed from Caroline, and then he turns into a falcon or a hawk.
Turns into a falcon. And then fights Damon in falcon and crow form.
Which is like the funniest thing.
Yeah, like, and
then they go to human, and he's like, "You killed her," and he's like, "I killed who?" And he's like, "You killed Elena," and Damon's like, "What?" And then we go to Elena.
Yeah, and Elena's like dreaming about screaming voices and like severed heads and stuff. And then she thinks of Stefan and starts to walk.
So, because after the proposal thingamabobsicle,
they did the mutual
blood exchange, and so she died with his blood still in her system.
The system of changing over the same in this as it is in the show.
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah, I think in the book you have to have some of the vampire's blood as part of the exchange, but in the show it's just you have to have. Sorry, there has to be like a mutual feeding.
Mutual suck.
In the book, whereas in the show you just have to have vampire blood in your system.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the end of that book. So she's a vampire now.
Yep.
And
yeah.
Happens
so we'll get back
to the show.
Yes.
Indeed.
So so that's the end of the book.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It goes by so much faster without the men.
It does.
I know, right?
So so next week we will be doing this one, and we will be skipping the super long book because I will be here and have time to brush up on it and take good notes for it.
Yes.
A lot happens in that book. And so I need to be able to take notes. But that's what we are doing. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
For the next Vampire Diaries book. And Bye, guys.
Bye.